rally among activists, solidarity for among us all, peace activists. My name is Gail McLaughlin. I'm a former mayor and a former council member here in Richmond, and I'm very, very excited to welcome the Golden Rule sailboat and its crew here to Richmond. And we're going to get started. I want to introduce Courtney Bear Quiver, who is going to start. She's a representative on behalf of the Lejean Aloni, and she is going to give us, lead us all in a blessing. So Courtney, please go.
Hey, everyone. I said greetings in my Muskogee Creek language from my people. I'm Northern Cheyenne, Arikara, and Muskogee Creek, proud Richmond resident and former Richmond Human Rights Commissioner. So I'd just like to say thank you, everybody, for being present today. It's wonderful to see so many people fighting for the good stuff of our earth and our people. It brings tears to my eyes to know about the Veterans for Peace. I really wasn't sure about, I didn't know the full story, and it's an honor to be able to do this for you all. The water is our protector from ocean to ocean. It brings everybody together, and thank you for doing this to the veterans. Thank you for that honor of including us and not forgetting us. So at this time, if you can, and if you want to, we'll say a prayer for the people that are still out there. Ojide Kangu Dadish Courtney Vancouver, Tinkashla Creator, thank you for allowing us to be here today in your presence on this beautiful day. Please be with the people still on the water. Please protect them and keep them safe, and the ones that are fighting for the right of us and our next generation. Thank you for the ones that are advocating currently. Thank you for these beautiful people and the veterans who continue to watch over us and protect us. Please let us all have a good day. Mado. Thank you. Amen.
Thank you so much, Courtney. And again, I want to welcome everyone here, but I want to give a special welcome to Veterans for Peace and the Golden Rule Committee, who just sailed into Richmond this morning with your message of peace. I'd also like to thank the Richmond group that worked to put some events together for this visit. And I already introduced myself. My name again is Gail McLaughlin. I'm going to MC this rally. So I want to just start out with a few words about how we in Richmond have stood for peace for years. In 2007, that was my first year as mayor, and I joined Mayors for Peace. And Richmond continues to this day to be a Mayors for Peace city. We also have the distinction of being the first city in the nation to pass a resolution for a ceasefire in Gaza.
Yes.
Hear, hear!
Yes.
And also one of the first cities to divest from investments in Israel. We have a long history of calling for an end to wars and apartheid, whether in Iraq, Iran, Palestine, or South Africa, and apartheid and genocide, of course. And while we are known as a shipbuilding city for the World War II home front, and we are standing here in front of the Rosie the Riveter World War II sculpture, we also know that World War II industries and post-war industries left lots of toxins in Richmond. So we have a strong environmental justice community that continues to work hard today for remedies to these injustices. That is all I have to say for now, because we have some great speakers lined up who will say much more. So to begin with, I'd like to introduce Jerry Condon. Jerry is
Could you hold
the chair of
Sure.
the Golden Rule Committee, and he is a board member of Veterans for Peace and a former president of Veterans for Peace. So let's welcome Jerry.
Thank you. It's an honor to be here among you all. Wow, we had such a beautiful welcome this morning from the Richmond City Rays, some of whom are here. Thank you so much. That was just gorgeous. We got lots of beautiful photos to share all around the world. So, y'all, I think most of you know the story of the Golden Rule. In 1958, 4 Quaker peace activists attempted to sail the Golden Rule from Los Angeles 4,000 miles into the middle of the Pacific to the Marshall Islands to interfere with U.S. nuclear testing. The U.S. exploded 67 nuclear devices in the Marshall Islands from 1946 to 1958. So it was actually that year that they attempted that sail that they finally stopped doing that. And that was maybe not totally a coincidence. Eisenhower stopped the testing at that time. And so the crew actually they only got halfway there. They got stopped and arrested in Hawaii, thrown in jail. They made a couple additional attempts to get out of Honolulu Harbor to head for the Marshall Islands. They were dragged back by the Coast Guard each time. But another boat, the Phoenix to Hiroshima, with another U.S. family, was inspired. They were in the harbor at the same time, and they were inspired, and they did sail into the Marshall Islands. And the captain of that boat, Earl Reynolds, was on trial in Honolulu for 2 years, and they ended up between the two boats, and they got a lot of international publicity. They brought attention to the fact that radiation was floating all around the globe, getting into mother's milk, etc. Helped build support for the 1963 Partial Nuclear Test Ban Treaty that was signed by President Kennedy in the United Kingdom and the USSR. And that treaty banned atmospheric nuclear testing, also nuclear testing in space or in water, but it allowed it to continue underground. And some years later, 1971, I think it was, some Greenpeace activists in Vancouver, British Columbia, were sitting around saying, "Well, what are we going to do? They're doing underground tests, nuclear testing in Alaska now." And they said, "Well, why don't we get a boat like the Golden Rule and we'll sail up there and protest against that nuclear testing?" So they did, and that was the beginning of Greenpeace, which has, of course, become quite an amazing project. So this boat changed hands a few times when it was sold in 1958. A couple different families sailed it in the South Pacific and the Caribbean, and somehow or other it ended up in Humboldt Bay in Northern California in 2010. A sunken derelict boat that got dragged up on the beach and almost became a bonfire before Veterans for Peace and other folks did a little research on what's the Golden Rule. When they found out that story, they said, we have to restore this boat and restore its mission for sailing for a nuclear-free world. So that's what we've been doing. It took 5 years of volunteer labor to put that boat back together. For the last 10 years, we've been sailing for a nuclear-free world and a peaceful, sustainable future. We've been many places. We've been up and down the West Coast, British Columbia, Washington State, Oregon, California, Baja, Mexico. We sailed over to Hawaii, and actually our intention was to sail on from Hawaii to the Marshall Islands, and finally arrive at the Marshall Islands, and then go to Guam, Okinawa, Japan, be there in time for the 75th anniversary of the U.S. Nuclear bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the civilian populations of those two cities. But that was 2020 and COVID hit, and kind of everything shut down. We ended up staying in Hawaiian Islands for almost 2 years. We went to all the different islands. We learned so much from the indigenous Hawaiians about the terrible impact of the military bases there, how it was destroying the environment and also harming the indigenous culture. And that's the case throughout all the Pacific Islands. A lot of U.S. military presence there, and even more so now as the U.S. seems to be gearing up for a war against China, which could even become a nuclear war. There's actually plans on the drawing board at the Pentagon for possible first nuclear strike against China. or at least the use of tactical nuclear weapons in the battle with China. And these so-called tactical nuclear weapons are like several times more powerful than the bombs that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So this is what we're up against. We're also very, very concerned in Veterans for Peace. This is a national project of Veterans for Peace. We're very concerned about the genocide that's going on in Gaza. And you know, it's kind of a reflection to have an indigenous prayer this morning is so valuable and appreciated. You know, we have a history of genocide in this country. So unfortunately the colonial imperialist powers are still operating. And we see the U.S. actively backing a terrible genocide in Gaza right now. We're very concerned about that. We're talking about it wherever we go. It's nice to see that among the anti-nuclear and climate justice messages this morning, we also had Palestinian flags and a big banner that said no genocide in Gaza. We're similarly concerned about increasing state repression here in the U.S. with ICE and the National Guard and the Marines and even and other armed forces being deployed in various cities. We now have Washington, D.C. being occupied. These are among our many concerns as we sail for a nuclear-free world and a peaceful, sustainable future. And this project is kind of a miracle in a number of respects because it really does take hundreds of people to make this a successful project, including yourselves, and including our captain, Steve Buck here, who keeps this thing going. We couldn't do it without him. And members, Olga Garcia is here, our project manager, you'll hear from Michelle, of course, Annette in a minute, and all of you. So it's the Golden Rule is welcomed in many places, and it puts a smile on people's face, even as we, just because of the incredible story behind it and the effort to keep it going. The beautiful boat itself makes it kind of an easier conversation to talk about what's going on in the world today with war and militarism and the growing threat of nuclear war. Probably maybe never been greater. And even this year alone, the U.S. is planning to spend $100 billion on modernizing nuclear weapons. That money is being stolen from the people of Richmond. So, of course, we're very aware of the Chevron presence here, the corporate criminals who are polluting our communities while they're selling oil to Israel as it carries out genocide in Gaza. So all these things are connected. We have a big job ahead of us in the coming years, but it's people like you that working together, coming out in the kayaks to read the Golden Rule and carrying on the struggle for environmental justice and against racism and genocide. Thank you very much.
This would be a perfect symbol to take to Washington to raise some hell.
We've been there.
Go, get there. And my suggestion, I'm just a concerned individual. My suggestion is be there on July 4th of next year.
We were in New York on July 4th recently, but we went to Washington, D.C., and we actually had the nuclear posture review of Veterans for Peace delivered. We hand-delivered it to every single congressional office while we were there. Made as much noise as we can, but thanks for the suggestion. Don't know when we'll be back on the East
one more
Coast.
question, and then we're going to keep going because we have a number of other speakers.
I'm proud of Richmond. We have a very activist community. This place would be crowded today, but two problems. I personally had trouble finding the different locations, and other people I'm sure had trouble finding places.
Can we hold
And
your comments till the end?
you are competing with a trigger-happy policeman. That's what's going to be the issue. The crowd this evening is going to be about that.
There was a shooting today?
There's a
Shooting?
cop who killed 2 people in like 6 months.
All right, we want to keep,
We
okay.
need to get to our program.
Let's keep with
And
the
we
program.
can do announcements and questions at the end of the program. Thank you.
Okay, the next speaker, I'm happy to introduce Michelle Marcinet. Am I pronouncing it right? Okay. Michelle is the project manager of the Golden Rule Committee. Michelle, let's give her a round of applause.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm so glad that everybody showed up here today, and I find so much inspiration in just showing up, because everybody matters, and when we get to work with the water, we know how much it connects us to each other, and all of these problems aren't, necessarily just in our own communities, but to me, that's where all of the healing starts. It starts within ourselves, and then, our family and our neighbors, making sure they're okay, and making sure our community's okay. And so when we decided we would come to Richmond with the Golden Rule, out popped all of these amazing organizers, and I just started fangirling over who came to the table to organize for us. And it brings a lot of smiles, but it brings a lot of tears to my eyes, because it means so much. I mean, I don't even have the words for it. Maybe someday I'll be able to write about what it means, but to have the wisdom of Mayors for Peace and what you guys brought to the table for us to be able to be here and enjoy, and to get to spread the anti-nuclear message and how it relates to every single living being on this world. We are in constant fear of annihilation by our own government, and what it means to not tread on our government means to don't tread on their gross profits, right? We don't want to take away from how they might be able to make money from us. So I really appreciated getting to hear Luna do the chant out there about we don't need billionaires, right? Like, that's not what we need. We need food on our table. We need to make sure our neighbors have food, and that they can go from one house to the next without being in fear of being detained or disappeared, or whatever the current mode is that they decide to do, which is extremely illegal and unfair. And I'm sick and tired of having to see this. So when I see people show up, I see people who are also sick and tired of having to see this. But we get strength from each other, and together we're so much stronger. That's just it's a living privilege to be able to say I'm the project manager for Veterans for Peace National Project, the Golden Rule, and go port to port and just keep saying this over and over, and identifying communities every time who aren't, we're not minorities. We are marginalized by a system that doesn't take people into consideration, and I see people here doing that, and so it means everything. It means maybe my grandson and my granddaughter get to have a chance of going to parks and playing in the water and learning how to sail, making friends, maybe going to public school. It means a lot for our future. And I'm here to rally. I want more people. I want more veterans to join Veterans for Peace. I want more mayors to join Mayors for Peace. I want us to call this Pacific Ocean out here the Peace Ocean. And I did get the opportunity. I started in 2001 with the Golden Rule. My dad's family is Hawaiian, and so as the Golden Rule sailed from island to island, my uncle, Captain Kiko Johnston Kitazawa, became one of their local captains, and he said, "Hey, Kanoi Lehu is my Hawaiian name." And he said, "Kanoi, you remember that boat?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I remember that boat. We need another crew. You should apply." And I'm like, "Really? You mean put down the work that I'm doing? My kids had all left the house and off to college." And I said, "Yeah, let's do it. Let's give me 6 to 12 weeks to try to get this little boat across the ocean and put that energy that I learned at Standing Rock to be a water protector. Going there and getting to be with the elders meant so much, and then getting to put that in the Peace Ocean as we crossed for 30 days. It's like 3,400 miles, so a lot of peace for me personally, and the people that taught me the ways of peace and love really got to hunker down in that water for a good 30 days. So thank you for being here and showing up, and I'm going to keep showing up, so I'm glad to see you guys are doing that too.
We're going to see a film about that crossing from Hawaii back to California on Thursday evening, I believe.
Yes. So the other crew, we needed one more crew member, and it happened to be a filmmaker, a young aspiring filmmaker, and the documentary is 34 minutes long. We'll watch it with the Richmond Rays have a beautiful 12-minute documentary as well. So we're in for a real treat over at the Harbor House on the 21st.
And then, yeah, Thursday night.
Yeah, 6 p.m. Thanks.
All right. And now, thank you, Michelle. And we're going to hear from Cynthia Papermaster, who's the, where's Cynthia? Bay Area Coordinator of Code Pink. Yay, Cynthia.
Thank you for this wonderful gathering today. We've been following the Golden Rule Project and supporting it for a long time in Code Pink. We've been around for 21 years. We're a feminist, anti-imperialist, anti-capitalist, anti-militarist group that is trying to go from a war economy, which we're all a part of, to a peace economy. So that's our work. And you probably know us because you know Medea Benjamin. You see her Instagrams or whatever where she's bird dogging people in Congress and saying, please don't vote for more weapons for Israel. Children are being killed, children are being starved, and she often gets a cold shoulder from them, or she gets this comment, go back to China where your headquarters is. Actually, Nancy Pelosi said that to me when I asked her to please support a ceasefire at the beginning of this genocide. And she said to me, go back to China where your headquarters is. That was her response. Instead of caring about the children who she's funding weapons to kill, her concern was that she thinks Code Pink is somehow supported and funded by the Chinese Communist government. We don't take a penny from any government. We're almost volunteer run. And Tarnal's a part of Code Pink, and other people here, I'm sure, have been to our Code Pink gatherings. Our current thing in San Francisco next week is that CBS is hiring Mary Weiss, a self-described fanatic Zionist, to consult with them on their coverage of the genocide in Gaza. She doesn't call it that, though. And we object to that. We think she's unfit to be influencing the CBS National News. She says that there is no starvation in Gaza, that they're lying about that.
Let the bike through, please. Excuse me.
You guys got to get out of the way.
You should go right through.
It's a public thoroughfare.
Make sure you get this on video too. Very polite. Thank you so much.
That's fine. Anyway, we're constantly in motion, Code Pink, and we do wear pink, it's true. But you don't have to wear pink to work with Code Pink. There you go. When I first started working with Code Pink, I didn't own a single thing that was pink. And now my closet is full of pink stuff, and people ask me all the time, do you always wear pink? And my answer to that is only in public. So this is my service dog, Lucky. He's my colleague in my work. I couldn't do it without him. And thank you, Tarnal, for organizing this today. Thank you to the Golden Rule. And let's stop the genocide.
All right. Here's Cynthia. Now, I just want to say I neglected to give a big thank you to the Richmond Rays. Thank you. You did a great job out there surrounding the Golden Rule. And I want to ask Luna. I understand Luna is here. Would you like to say a few remarks, Luna? All right, please do.
Yeah, hey y'all. My name is Luna. I'm one of the coordinators. Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm one of the coordinators with the Rich City Rays. We are a collective of organizers, environmentalists, some of us now kayakers, who come together to, on the one hand, increase access to Black and brown youth from Richmond to kayaking. Many youth here in Richmond, like myself, grew up here in this beautiful city and never really had access to this beautiful waterfront. And so we organized to kind of push on that end, but also create avenues for people to take action directly on the water and take on the billionaires, the corporations, the fossil fuel companies, and venture capitalists that are fueling the destruction of the planet and are fueling genocide, not only in Gaza, but all over the world. It was really beautiful to have the opportunity to welcome the Golden Rule into our home. It's really incredible listening today about the kind of the background of the boat and of the organization. that makes all of this happen. And really nice to see folks here today. I think the fight here in Richmond against imperialism in all sorts has a really deep history. I'm really grateful, Gail, that you mentioned, like, I think a big part of our history here in Richmond is our contribution to the war effort. That we were, the Western Front of the war. But often what's left out of that story is the legacy of that. On the communities living nearest to industry that are predominantly Black and brown folks who are low income. So it's great to have y'all here. I hope that we can continue to partner in whatever way that we can. Yeah. You can learn more about us at richcityrace.com.
Thank you.
And for our last speaker, last but not least, is Tarnell Abbott, who's a longtime activist in Richmond for peace, for local work, for so many things. So, Tarnell, take it away.
Give me a hug.
Of course.
Thank you, Gail.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, I don't want to block anything.
Come on up.
Oh, she's carrying and filming and doing everything. This is what's so wonderful about this. All of us here, I know that I think everybody here is an activist. If you're not an activist, would you please come into the center and do a bow? Do a nice hello. I think that the golden rule coming here to Richmond is absolutely, it is so wonderful because, as other people have said, here we are with this legacy of World War II, and it's a toxic legacy, and actually even before that, because Chevron's been here since before the city was incorporated. So we've got this toxic legacy all surrounding us in Richmond, and even especially on this south shoreline. This whole area where we are, this whole neighborhood here at Marina Bay, is a brownfield, and there are some very toxic sites within walking distance. I mean, literally, almost a stone's throw away. It's buried, but it's there. The AstraZeneca site, former Stauffer Chemical, right down the shoreline that way, Chevron over that way. There's a lot of other toxic sites, Blair Landfill, etc. So, to me, having the message of peace and the golden rule it's an SOS, because the planet is suffering, and nuclear war, or even the use of tactical nuclear weapons, is only a death bringer. And we have to, it's up to us to save the planet for all of us and for the future generations. I don't really mean to be repeating what everybody else has said. The peace economy can bring prosperity to everyone on the planet, especially the most vulnerable, who are now being thrown under the bus, if you will. So that's why we welcome you and appreciate all of you who came out today. We know that there's a lot of problems in Richmond and in other places too, where people are dying for no good reason whatsoever. Sometimes, look at Gaza, those innocent children, women, civilians, public workforce, garbage men, postmen. Everybody's just being bombed to death, or starved, or worse. We've got to end this, and it's up to us. And if each one talks to 10 people, we're going to turn it around. We have to. All right, I'll get off the soapbox. Okay, so I just want to go over the rest of today and then a couple of other events. This will be very brief. And also at the end of this, I'd like us to reconvene over at the picnic area where the No War banner and the Free Palestine banners are, so that we can eat and talk, and maybe we can continue with some Q&A. Okay, so from now, oh yes, and also right now, if it's noon, Lou and I are probably on KCBS radio. I don't know if we have a way to catch it after the film. But they were there, a little late, a little early. I don't know, something. Okay, they really wanted to talk to Jerry and the crew. So today, I'm not sure, there should be dockside tours, but you're gonna have to check with the crew, with Jerry and Michelle on that. If that's a
We would like to
possibility.
check with Steve.
what time
Again, 2 to 4. Yeah, that just means that we're in the E lot, but it's locked, so we'll just need to stage somebody to let people in.
Okay, so it's dockside tours of the ship. Okay. And then at 5 o'clock, Richmond City Council at Civic Center in Richmond. There will be a huge overflow crowd, I'm sure, because of what Elsa mentioned earlier about police shootings. And people are going to be speaking to that. Before the open forum, there will be a little bit of protocol with the City Council, and then there are 2 proclamations. I'm not sure which one will go first, but one of the proclamations is by our mayor, Eduardo Martinez, and Doria Robinson, and maybe the whole council will be there. I mean, they will be there, but maybe they'll all stand up.
Maybe.
Anyway,
I hope they will.
they won't do it. It's a proclamation to welcome the Golden Rule to Richmond. And what I'm hoping is that whoever signs up to speak, you get usually 2 minutes, but it might be more, might be less because of the big crowd. You want to sign up for that item. And whoever is first, I'll try to get there. We want to ask everybody if they're in the audience, to please stand up to support, show their support. So then briefly, Wednesday, 11, I don't know if this guy works for you guys, but we told people 11 to 2 there would be dockside tours. And then after that, there is a group that is called the People's Arms Embargo.
That's Thursday.
It's Thursday.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, I jumped ahead here. Sorry. Wednesday afternoon there will be a peace flotilla. And it will be with the Golden Rule and a number of other boats, sailboats. And it's going to sail around Alcatraz Island protesting the idea of having an ice jail on Alcatraz. And it will also, I guess, sail near Chevron or beside Chevron or something with the message about their complicity in wars in general and the stolen gas that they're looking at from Gaza, as well as the way that they are destroying the environment.
5 minutes before your show.
Oh, good timing. Yeah, I don't know which part of the broadcast. It's, I don't know how long the broadcast is. I never listen to the mainstream news. So I think I'm going to end it. Oh no, I got to tell you about Thursday. Thursday, August 21. In the morning, the People's Arms Embargo is going to be sailing on the Golden Rule. Watch out for these bikes. They forget to warn us when they're coming through. They're supposed to blow their horn or make a whistle or something. Pardon?
They also forget that this is a sidewalk.
Oh yeah, no, they think it's just for the bikes. Yeah. Okay, so and then there is some other sailing happening around, I guess, on Thursday. On Wednesday. So, Thursday.
And Thursday evening.
Yes. Okay. Thursday. Yeah. 6 to 8 p.m. There's a film screening and discussion at the Harbor Masters Conference Room. Now, this is confusing because I had the wrong address on the press release. So I sent out another one with a correction. But you can't even, it's really hard to find. If you think it was confusing finding your way here, just wait till you try to find the Harbor Master's office. So I'm just going to sort of try to vaguely describe it. If you go down Marina Way South, near Hall Street or Avenue, it's in that vicinity. The architecture it's got like kind of a blue dome, and the office is on one side and the conference room is on the other. So it's kind of near the public boat launch. So if you're coming on Marina Bay South or Marina Way South, you'll see an anchor and an arrow. That's your clue.
And the address is 1340 Marina Way South.
Yeah,
And you can reach it from the Bay Trail too.
absolutely. Yeah, from the Bay Trail, if you see the public launch dock or whatever you call it, it's right behind there.
You see
Yeah.
the blue dome.
Right.
And bathrooms.
Yeah, and for today, yeah, there's bathrooms right here in this building. That's it. That's it.
All right, everybody, thank you. Wonderful rally. Let's go eat.
The Golden Rule does have a website. It's vfpgoldenrule.com, and our schedule is there. So the times and places where we'll be here in Richmond is listed on that
time
webpage.
too, so my picture was out there.
VFP.
I